Namaste, sweet friends. This is Anya Light here, loving the love and the light within you. I'm so happy to be here with you today to talk about self-care. Self-care. It's a buzzword in our society for a reason. It's because we need it desperately. So many of us really need to focus on it right now. So, on this self-care journey, we are all learning to get in touch with our core, with our inner being. And doing that allows us such a great freedom in life, such a spaciousness, such an ability to tune in to our authentic nature and who we truly are. Self-care is the foundation. And I've been talking to a lot of beautiful souls lately who are empaths, who are sensitives, who are artists, who are healers, and there's just a general vibe of feeling burnt out and how to feel more motivation and inspiration for our daily self-care practices when honestly we feel completely exhausted and just don't, feel like it, basically. So how to kind of move through those blocks is what I'll be sharing with today. So I'll be sharing 3 just simple tips, 3 simple mindset shifts that can help you really feel inspired and get more energy, more motivation to practice self-care. Okay, so let's dive in. So number 1 tip that I think will help you is create a schedule, but be flexible. Create a schedule, but be flexible. So what really tends to work for me, and this works for many of my students and friends that I've spoken with on the path, is to create a schedule of maybe a 2-week, 3 weeks, or even a month schedule. So a little bit long-term planning. I personally like to do month-to-month schedule. So each month on the first day of the month, I review last month's schedule, see what's working, see what needs to be tweaked, added, taken off, modified in some way, and then create just a schedule of myself, daily practices that I do for my self-care, for my spiritual growth. I feel like, just as a little aside, spiritual growth and self-care, one and the same. So I create a schedule and then I am flexible about it. So I write down, it's good to get it down on paper. So I have my little notebook and each month I write out, okay, each day I'm just going to do these different practices. So, but we are flexible with it. So as the month or couple weeks or however long you want to make your schedule for progresses and you see that there's just something that's not quite gelling about your schedule, modify it, right? So it's about having a vision, having something to aim towards, but also being flexible with ourselves. Nobody likes to be imprisoned, least of all by ourselves, right? So if we make a schedule, for example, that's too overly rigorous, too time demanding, too difficult for whatever reason, and then we do it maybe okay for a few days, but then we kind of fall off the wagon. Instead of being like, oh, I'm going to quit self-care completely and just go off the rails for a few weeks and do nothing, that's not good. Instead of doing that, we look at our list and we're like, okay, what is not really being realistic here about what I've set out to do? So an example of that from my journey is I recently was taught this beautiful Zen Grounding Technique using my hands and my feet. It's like a movement meditation. My beautiful Reiki teacher shared this with me. I was like, yes, I need this in my life. Perfect. And he recommended doing it 3 times a day, morning, afternoon, and evening. Well, I thought that's a great idea. And so I had every intention. So I wrote it down like, okay, for the month of July, I'm going to do this 3 times a day. It's great. But then about, halfway through the month, I realized, I'm just not ever doing it in the evening. I'm always remembering to do it morning and afternoon. because it kind of jives with my schedule, but I always keep forgetting to do the evening. So instead of just saying, oh, well, I'm not going to do this Zen grounding thing, I'm just going to change the frequency of what I do it, be more realistic to how I function in the evenings. I tend to just like I like to have a lot of free time to be very spontaneous. And I don't like to have things that I have to do. It's like my creative playtime. So just having something scheduled that I have to do in the evening was really not working for me. So I was like, okay, cool. I'll just do it twice a day, morning and afternoon. Boom, simple. And now I can continue the Zen grounding practice. I really enjoy it. It's beneficial for me. I feel the results every time I do it. So I want to keep doing it, but I'm flexible. So I hope that makes sense. So creating a schedule for yourself, just a list of 1, 2, 3 or 4 or 5 even practices you're going to try to consistently do every day, but modify that list as it goes along. And especially at the beginning of each month, kind of looking back to the previous month, what worked, what didn't, etc. Okay. The second thing is learn to say no. And I am also speaking a lot right now to the divine feminines out there. So, okay. So we have a tendency to people please. And we have a tendency to take on in our society, because of our societal conditioning, we tend to take on more stuff in a day than is reasonable for our sanity. So we have this false notion that we have to always be taking care of others all the time and constantly be doing, serving, or else we are not worthy, right? It's a very harmful myth that we have going in our society. And there's also this strange sort of status symbol that we have. Like if you're busy, if you're like the most busy, then you're the most valuable member of society. That is so completely wrong. Okay. I am working in co-creation with other healers and light workers at this time on this planet to eradicate that false notion that to be busy and overscheduled is somehow noble. It is not. What I believe is more beneficial for everyone's well-being is to do less. So see where you can say no more. No is your best friend in the world of increasing self-care. No. Hey, can you do this? No, thanks. Hey, can you do this? Thanks for asking, but that's just not aligning for me right now. Hey, are you able to help with this? Oh, I'd really love to, but actually that's my rest day. So creating in your mind pre-made little phrases for yourself that you can say when people ask you to do things and it's just too much and you want to carve out some precious time for yourself. It helps when you have like that people pleasing, like automatically wanting to say yes nature, which I have struggled with. So this has been huge for me, is creating in advance some like pre-made little things you can say so that if you're feeling nervous or triggered or scared to say no, you already have these things stored in your brain. So, one of the things that I often tell people, usually once a week, I will have an unplug day. I unplug from all my screens and my devices, and I just spend the day in nature, resting, doing Reiki, doing yoga, all the beautiful things. And if people ask me to meet on my unplug day, I just say very simply like, no thanks, I'm not able to, that's my unplug day. And it helps just to have that response ready. And also know that when you say no to others and you give like a reason, you're like, no, I can't, I'm doing self-care that night. Or no, I can't, I choose to spend that time in meditation. Subtly, what you're doing is giving permission to other people in your life for them to take care of themselves as well. So it's not just for you that you're saying no. It's kind of funny, but in reality, when we learn to say no with grace and we have an explanation like, no, I am actually using that time to pursue my spiritual path or my self-care, it kind of turns a light bulb on inside of people. And they're like, oh, maybe I don't have to be super busy all the time and tearing my hair out. Maybe I can actually slow down. All right, so number three, last but not least, is do the self-care practices and activities that you truly like. Now, this might sort of seem obvious on the outset, but it may not be for you. So here's an example from my journey. I initially got very interested in yoga because of the meditation and the chanting and the different like spiritual mythologies in Hinduism. I was very drawn to many different aspects of yoga. But everybody that I knew loved the exercise part of it, the asana part, the posture part, the part when you like unroll the mat and you move your body into different shapes. To be honest with you, I've never super dug that. I even went so far as to, for a while, teach asana because I thought I should. I thought, oh, that's just what I'm supposed to do because everybody likes it. And then I really got real with myself and I was like, you know what? I don't need to be a teacher of this. I actually need to be a teacher of meditation and chanting and mantra, the aspects of yoga that are underserved in our society. In case you didn't know, yoga is this whole spiritual path that is way bigger than just exercise. So I was like, you know what? I'm just going to be true to myself and I'm going to practice the aspects of the yoga path that truly I like and enjoy. And I like mantra and I like singing. Singing is a part of yoga too. And there's yamas and niyamas, codes of conduct for daily living and ethical practices. And I just kind of was like, you know what? The asana thing, not for me. I mean, it's fine, but I don't super love it. So I made that shift in my self-care routines and how I also teach and show up for others. And it was amazing. So ask yourself, are there some like self-care practices, different spiritual practices that you do, but you're not super in love with? If you're not, let them go. It's fine. Focus on what you truly like and enjoy. That way you will continue to have the motivation and inspiration to keep going because this is about longevity and not just like quick boosts of sometimes we want to do things just to satisfy our ego or just to prove to ourselves that we're worthy. Let's let all that go and just be like, hey, what do I really enjoy? And do that. So those are my 3 tips. Say no, do what you like, and create a schedule, but be flexible about your schedule. I hope that's helpful. Before I go, I want to give some shout outs and some words of love. So I want to give some words, encouragement, love, and a shout out to my beautiful, what is it called? Creator of light, I think. Oh shoot, I forgot now. But my, I think it's light creator. So Chad Primo, he is a beautiful soul with me that is on with me on my Patreon community. There's a link to the Patreon community below. And Chad has been with me now for about a year. And I just want to give a shout out and thanks to Chad for being with me on this journey. I learned so much from you, Chad, every single day. Thank you for supporting this Anya Light Healing channel through your beautiful and generous financial contributions. I am so grateful, and your energy fuels this creation in this moment. Thank you, Chad. I also want to give a shout out to my cocoon peeps, beautiful souls that I co-create with. Cocoon is a beautiful, safe haven for people who are fleeing really challenging situations with domestic violence. And they are these beautiful social workers, healers, light worker souls who come together to support human beings who are really seeking to start over in life. And this week, I think Friday or Thursday, we're meeting to discuss like how to get more motivation for self-care. And so these beautiful souls inspire me every single day. And I just want to say thank you to all of you if you're tuning in and you are a part of the Cocoon family. Thank you for the work that you do to support survivors. Thank you for doing your own work every single day to heal yourself and to be a rock solid foundation for others. I love you. All right, that is enough for now. I will tune in with you again soon. Thank you so much from the bottom of my heart. Blessings on your self-care journey.